Okay, let's try doing another part today. I hope I'm up to the task because, as I said yesterday, I have somewhat of a cold and it's giving me a sore throat, so my apologies if I'm not talking as loud as I usually do. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I guess I'm gonna find that out when I do the editing, and if it happens that I'm not talking loudly enough compared to usual, I'm just gonna lower the game volume a bit more to compensate. But nonetheless, let's give it a try. I just had a throat lozenge prior to coming on, so hopefully I'll be able to make it through the whole 50 minutes. Anyway, today we're going to be completing the Ravaged Path, and afterwards we're heading to the Fuego Ironworks. Now, there was someone who left a comment on one of my later videos. I think it was Platinum Part 49. That was the one where I talked about my emulator working surprisingly well compared to what I expected, compared to what I've heard about it tending to crash when playing this game. And he made me realize, and that's the truth, that if the emulator is going to fuck up at some point, it's probably going to be during the Distortion world. Because let's face it, that place is a lot more resource intensive than any other place in the entire game. Because of, the whole 3D effects, the fact that sometimes you're walking on walls and, stuff like that, that's crazy. Waterfall falling upwards while you're going down the waterfall. That kind of stuff, that's the kind of thing that I could imagine an emulator not taking very well. Now, there are chances that I could make it through just fine, but there's also the possibility that it fucks up. Now I'm going to head to Floroma Town to heal a bit, and after that, it's off to the Fuego Ironworks. Now, as I was saying, it's quite possible that if the emulator fucks up, it's going to be in that place. And the problem is that the Distortion world isn't just a side area that you can skip if you don't want to go there. No, you got to go through there to progress through the game and be able to go to Sunny Shore afterwards. And I really don't want to have to quit this LP halfway through because the emulator doesn't cooperate. Now, this is just a worst case scenario, but yeah, if it was a side area and the emulator didn't tolerate it, well, what I would do would be, I would say screw the Distortion world, and I'd head back to Wayward Cave and catch a Gibble there. Especially since now my team is into the 50s, so the high evolution levels wouldn't be a concern anymore, and the Earthquake TM that I'm planning on giving to Giratina would be free for a Garchomp. But since I'm forced to go through it, well, let's just pray that everything works fine. Now, as I said, we're heading to the Fuego Ironworks, which is a very important place for me to go to, because that's where you can obtain loads of shards fairly easily. In Diamond and Pearl, when you reach the end, you talk to Mr. Fuego, which is the owner of the place. Mr. Fuego, really creative name. I mean, Fuego, I don't know much Spanish, if at all, because we don't have Spanish classes here. We're in Canada, and we were not having an invasion of illegal immigrants from Mexico or anything like that. But I do know for a fact that Fuego means fire in Spanish. Yeah, congratulations. Really original. Now, what's down there? We're going to Floroma Town and okay, loads of flowers and... Oh, I think I remember this place. Oh, yeah, I definitely do remember this place now. See all those dead ends in those paths? There are loads and loads and loads of items to grab there. There's nothing there, and yeah, I'm not gonna start button mashing on every tile I see. I'm just gonna look for the dead ends, see if there are any items in there. There are some that are visible, some others that are invisible. I may not grab them all because, as usual, I don't really care that much for hidden items unless it's stuff that I need, like those heart scales I picked up earlier in the game. But, okay, here we got a rare candy. Yeah, really, loads and loads and loads of stuff. So, okay, now let's see, is there anything there? No, that's weird. A hyper potion. Well, at least that's several $100 saved, because I'm gonna have to end up buying some of these for the Elite Four, as I usually do. Even if I don't usually use more than 2 or 3, it's always good to be on the safe side. So as for those Fuego Ironworks, I'm just gonna check out what's there. There are a few berries, but yeah, the Fuego Ironworks, they're not a very big area. It's just one big room. There are no wild Pokemon or anything of the sort. There are a few trainers, though. But what that building is known for is those arrow tile puzzles. And you know just how much I love those things. Oh god, we're gonna have a fun time here. Fortunately, as I said, it's not a very complex building. It has nothing to do with the Game Corner basement in Celadon. Oh hi, Wild Magmar. Didn't remember you being here, but makes sense because Fuego Ironworks, Fire, see where I'm going with this. And, by the way, Magmar is obviously one of those Pokemon that weren't in the Sinnoh Dex in Diamond and Pearl, but were added in the expansion because Magmar obtained a new evolution in Generation 4. Of course, they added a few that didn't evolve in Generation 4, such as Scyther, Scizor, Absol, Tropius, Swablu, Altaria, and okay, I guess this is a one-way trip back to Route 205, so let's get started on the Fuego Ironworks. And as I said before, this is a fairly important place for me, because as you all probably know by now, because I've said it several times, I'm going to get a Lucario soon, and you bet I'm hot and sweaty. How do you spell TMI again? And who thought of this line? Someone needs to have thought of this line. I don't know if it was there in the Japanese version, maybe not, but someone needs to have written this line. And with all the potential meanings that it may have, I'm surprised that with all that censorship craze they've been going through recently, that this made it in there. But I guess at the same time, children really wouldn't get it, though we live in a day and age where kids are talking about sex as early as 6-year-olds, so I guess maybe things have changed a lot since I was a kid myself. But as I was saying, I'm going to be getting a Lucario soon, and I want to give it Ice Punch. Now, Ice Punch is given to you by the move tutor on Route 212 next to Pastoria. And I am going to need, I checked on Cerebi, 6 blue shards and 2 red shards. Now, as I remember it, I think Mr. Fuego in Diamond Pearl gave you a Firestone or something like that. I don't really remember. Please don't flood the comments saying what it is that he gives me, because I can just as well look it up on Bulba Garden. But in Platinum, he's going to trade you the star pieces that you have for free shards, one of each color. So, in this game, in Platinum, do not sell those star pieces if you want to use the move tutors a lot. Now, I've checked, I don't remember the exact number of shards that I have of each kind, but I still have a fair amount of them. And the fact that, well, I have 2, I know for a fact that I have 2 star pieces right now. So that means that at the end of this place, I'm gonna go see Mr. Fuego, and he's gonna give me 2 of each type of shard. So in the end, I think I'm gonna have enough for Ice Punch. And by the way, you've been a lot prior to me actually starting this LP. Quite a few of you have mentioned that there's a trick to getting infinite star pieces on Iron Island. It respawns once a day at a certain spot. Well, I don't think I'm going to need it at all, actually. Nonetheless, thanks to everyone who commented saying that this was the case, because I could have very well have ended up needing to do it. Fortunately, that appears not to be the case, and I'm probably going to have enough shards to get Ice Punch on Lucario without needing to do several return trips to Iron Island. And as you can guess, I'm thrilled at the idea of doing less backtracking in never-ending cave areas, because Iron Island is it's a complex island, let me tell you that. Yeah, we're pretty proud of them here. Well, I wouldn't be, because they just make the place that much harder to navigate. I mean, it's not like... How do those things even work? Do they make you, navigate the place without even needing to put a foot ahead of the other or something like that? Well, I guess we live in a universe where technology is incredible, but at the same time, I think that's, maybe pushing it a bit too far. I mean, I don't think even Star Trek had that kind of thingy. Or maybe it did. I don't know the first thing about Star Trek. I just like to bring up Star Trek whenever there's something about technology that doesn't make sense, because it's best known for that. And yeah, Firestone. Now I don't know if that was what Mr. Fuego gave you, because there's one right here, unless it wasn't there in Diamond and Pearl. But regardless. Okay, now I have 3 choices. Which one is it? I'm gonna try the middle one, see where it leads. Oh, bad idea. Okay, well, at least... Okay, now I know where I am. I just gotta head back up here. So, okay, which one am I gonna choose now? Either the one at the top or at the bottom. I'm gonna go for the one at the top. No, this one. So, where do I end up at a place with a trainer, but I'm just gonna grab this item first. Rock incense. I'm not an expert on babies because they suck, but I think that's the one you need to breed a bonsai. Well, yeah, actually, I am getting annoyed. Those things are the devil! Why did you install them here? It's like, Team Rocket used them to make their hideout harder to infiltrate, and you're actually putting that shit down on your floors as well? I'm sorry, but whoever asked for this is a freaking moron! Okay, I said I probably wouldn't talk loud enough in this LP. Well, I guess I found something to nitpick at, so my sore throat just went out of the window. I wish you could see my face right now, because right now, I don't want to think about it anymore. Flamethrower, TM35. This would have been useful, before I got my Togetic in the first place. Oh, well, doesn't really matter anymore. But because this TM is going to come into use in the post-game, I'm probably going to end up giving it to Dialga. And yes, Star Piece. So that's a third one. So now I'm going to trade 3 Star Pieces instead of 2, so I would really be surprised if I didn't have enough shards for Ice Punch. So, yeah, let's scroll through the same text over and over and over now. Just gonna read it for the first time. After that, I'm just going to mash the button like crazy. Yeah. There's no real other use for Star Pieces other than trading them to Mr. Fuego, so if you don't want shards, you sell them, or maybe you want to trade with him regardless, because I don't know if the 4 shards cost more than a Star Piece. But anyway, enough of the Fuego Ironworks. Next time on Pokemon Platinum, we're going to get started on the path to the Pal Park, which involves getting through my favorite sea routes. Yeah, I'm actually not too thrilled at that prospect either. Thankfully, we're not in Hoenn anymore, so I should do fine. So see you next time.